I greet you in the love and the light of the Ultimate One Creator. I don't know how it's going to go today, but I have quite a few things to go over um, on a number of different topics, all really connected to the same thing. I haven't had a haircut to shave. I'm like the wild man of Borneo, but blessed nevertheless. So a little brief bit on quantum entanglement, and I want to just touch on, and the platonic solids, the 5 platonic solids that we have, which is really above my pay grade, to be totally honest. But I'm going to touch on it a little bit, because really the universe is built on top of them. Sacred geometry. The universe is built on top of these 5 platonic solids. Again, I want to touch on the law of one, and it predominantly being the Christian, the real Christian look. I know we have the Bible, and the Bible's really great book and things like that, and all the rest of it, but there's more to it. The real truth is the law of one. And I understand the Pope and his minions have talked about a one world religion. Surprise, surprise. It'll probably be the law of one with their spin on it. You understand? The negative spin that they've put on. There's a reason that they've all been done for the P word, and children, things like that, and the little red shoes we've heard of from before. Such awful situations. But anyway, the rest of the world don't think like we do. In the love and in the light. They don't share this sacred information. The sacred information that, we've got in the archives of all this knowledge. You or I can't go there and gather knowledge and share it to the world. But one thing I do know is there is no more popes after this last one, according to the prophecies. And these prophecies are all slowly unfolding for us all to see, because we seem to be leaving the time of separation or confusion, and entering, the third dimension is the dimension of confusion or separation, and we seem to be leaving that behind on this earth, Gaia, which is really good, because we realise that the deep state are running the show, but we realise someone else is controlling the deep state, and it's the Orions. And the Orions have been kicked off. They were on the moon, but they've been kicked off the moon about 3 years ago now. They've been kicked off on the moon, and there's a lot of them still residing on Mars. But again, the majority of them are located in a place called Rigel, which is in the Orion constellation. And it's in the left side of the Orion constellation, the left foot, I believe, or the left side of the Orions. But these are Draco reptilians, and the Orions are the ones running the show. on Earth. All the gold is disappearing. All the natural wealth, elements, of the Earth that just disappear. They don't know where it goes, which isn't great, really. Yeah, I learned out something about Nibiru. Nibiru is not actually a planet. It's as big as a planet, don't get me wrong, as big as a small planet. But they call it something else, and it's just left my memory for a little second. I'll come back to that. But Nibiru is not actually a planet. It's a part of something that's broke off. So it's a comet. That's what it is. It's a comet. But a large one at that. And I thought it was a planet, but it isn't actually a planet. It's a comet. And it broke up into something, an unknown plot, unknown planet or something. It's broke up, and it's a comet flying through Earth, and it's getting, closely watched. Right. I want to talk just briefly. I just want to get this one out of the way because it's a bit of a... Apparently, on the platform that starts with... It's got 2 T's. TT. This platform, at the end of their videos, I haven't got this platform and I've never used it. And they use a man control thing to the end of the videos, and it makes a noise like... I've never heard it because I've never been on this platform, but it makes a funny noise, like, like a bit of a funny noise. And this is a man control thing. It's getting people addicted to it. So you watch yourself and your children who's going on these platforms. Stop them listening to that, because if you can't get them to stop using the platform, I'm told the last 6 seconds is when they play it. So, it puts you in it's something to do with your short-term memory. It's a bit like what I spoke of with the mind control stuff over, they slip things into your subconscious. I don't know if you can remember the big hoo-ha about them, the Coca-Colas putting the flash of Coca-Cola in. It's a bit like that, but this is a vibration thing, a noise thing, a sound thing. So we want to get that one out of the way. So stop them using this platform, especially your children and vulnerable minds. If you hear any noises, Nicola's just pottering around the house today and doing some cleaning and things like that. So if you hear any noises in the background, there's dogs barking, there's all sorts going on. But anyway, hey ho. So right, this is a big one. We're gonna have to touch on this one because this might go into a thing, and I'm gonna take you back. Really, I'm gonna take you back in time. And I'm all about the here and now, but I'm going to take you back in time for whatever reason. And I want to talk to you about what apparently started the World Wars. And I'm going to start with World War II. I'm not going to go back to 1, but World War II. It was the Leiweke incident. And the Leiweke incident was basically the Nazis blew their own radio station up and tried to blame it on Poland. And apparently that's what started the Second World War, or the start of it. Leiweke incident, it's called. If anybody wants to research that and Google that. But we've had other situations. The other situations. What's the one called? God, slipped my memory again. But anyway, I'll touch on the one I've got. The one that happened on 9/11. And I don't want to be pointing these out too much to you, but it happened on 9/11. and I'm not, you know, in the US states, that created all them wars around the Middle East, you know, which are not over yet because we've got something more to touch on that. But I'm calling these kickers where they're going to push into war. Do you understand? They're going to try and create a war from nothing, you know, just because we like to create a bit of negativity, especially in around, you know, the media. I mean, if you look at the media, what we call the media, what I look at the media now is the opposites. So if the media says something, or the 5 big media groups say something, you know, the reality is the opposite. You understand? So if they say something, just look at, if you're going to watch the media, try and just flip it. Say, right, look, this is what the media have said. Well, I think the mainstream media is the opposite. So the opposite might be the truth. Do you understand? Do you get where I'm coming from? I know it seems bad and bizarre, and you think these media corporations have got our best interests. You think these governments have got their best interests. Well, have they? Why are we in perpetuated debt that we can't get out of? Because we can't pay the interest off. It all comes from the same place. So we're perpetuated in debt. You know, we're perpetuated in lies, wars, everything that's negative. You know, if people believe me, right, this is what I want you to do. Take a trip down to the betting shop and put your money on Kamala Harris winning when she's got 0 chances of winning. Why? Why? Why, oh why, oh why? She's only going to win for one reason. To keep 45, you know 45 is, the 45p, the 45p. And I'm saying all these because, you know, these algorithms on these platforms that I'm on stop us saying these things and, you know, pull these videos and stop us spreading the real truth of the matter. Big up, shout to X, who's making it really easier to speak free and openly. And this is Elon. I love you, mate. Well done, you. Right, so we've got all these kickers kicking off these wars that are not really, you know, we had 9/11. Oh, it was Osama bin Laden. And the truth of the matter, he was a CIA operative, apparently. I shouldn't have said his name, but I did. But CIA operative, gone missing. And, you know, gone missing for all them years. They were looking for him, 10 years or whatever it was. And all the time he was just, you know, living in a small compound in the middle of Pakistan. Not in his native country, which I think his native country is Yemen, I believe. Yemenis. Big shout out to my friend who's from Yemen, or his family are from Yemen. The Welshman. You know what I'm talking about. They call him the Dark One. Big shout out to you, bro. Anyway, so listen, we've got all these kickers kicking off these wars, which is just nonsense. Try and rise above it, people, if we can. Try and rise above it. And we've got the World Economic Forum taking control of Messi. Oh, I can't say this word. I'm going to butcher it. And I'm going to try and say it. I know it's in Turkey. And it's Metipi Temple. I've got it all wrong. I'm saying it all wrong. But anyone who knows who I'm talking about, can you please let me... I should have went and figured this one out a bit better for yourself. I'm sorry I've butchered this, people. I'm really sorry about that. But the World Economic Forum have taken control over that area. And why would the World Economic take control over that? Because it has some significance they don't want to get out into the public domain. You know, it's a really old site in Turkey. And I was over in Turkey. It was 13 hours away to get to this place from where I was in Turkey, which I just didn't fancy, 13 hours in the motor. You know, it's a bit of a drive, that, innit? Don't mind 6 and 7 hours, but 13 hours just, nah. It's going to take us 2 days of our holiday to get there and back, innit? Unless we've got a flight. We've got a sneaky flight, like, I bet. I wonder what that would have cost. I should have looked into that, shouldn't I? But I'm sure I'll be going back there to Turkey because I did enjoy it. Yeah, I did enjoy it. The Turkish people were lovely, and yeah, I liked them. So anyway, I couldn't get any of me Moroccan wood bands there. So, you know, hey ho. But, you know, it's not something I have to have. I choose, you know. I don't get controlled, manipulated. Anyway, so we've got rid of, you know, these few other things I want to touch on. Yeah, I'm going to touch basically on the Law of One now, a little bit. So the Law of One was channeling sessions from the 1981 channeling sessions. Ra, the sun god, who I often talk about. Some friends of mine still channel him now, which is really good. And I always listen and channel with Ra because, you know, he is really good, because the Law of One is one of the things I really look into and really adore, and realise that that is the real truth of reality of Christianity, really, and the Bible. The Law of One. The way I profess it is like, I am you and you are me. Do you understand? There's no separation because there's only one consciousness. One. We all share a piece of it and we're grateful for that. Gratitude. I love you. Because there's only you. There's not me. There's only you. I'm just an imagination. I mean, if you can get your head around this, it's a bit of a difficult one, but I'm going to try it anyway. If you can imagine, we are all thoughts. Separate thoughts or separate monads have an experience of thought. Baffles you, I know, but I have 10 years to live with this, you know, because I come across a Law of One in I think it was about 2014, so it was before my son Leo was born. Yeah, it was long before my son Leo was born. Yeah, and I've had so much time to grasp it, you know, and take note of it, you know. Right, so the Law of One. And Ra is the person who gives me all the information about the pyramids being built 13,800 years ago. But the Sphinx, which is, there's 2 of them. Did you know that? There's 2 Sphinx, and the other one's under the sand. Still hasn't been noticed. So look out for that popping up shortly. You had to hear first with Ra, the sun god. Right, so but they're a lot older than the pyramids. They're a lot older. So, but I want to talk to something about the sarcophagus that's in the king's chamber. It's got the same dimensions of the Ark of the Covenant by coincidence. Now, the Ark of the Covenant has been taken out there because when they put the Ark of the Covenant back in there, this lights up the 4th dimension. It's a power station for the planet, pushing it. When it was built, it was in the third dimension of the planet, and it was trying to push it into the fourth dimensional. So it was easier for the extraterrestrials to come here, and and be here and be around. So it's the same dimensions. Now that is not a coincidence. Nothing's a coincidence. Everything's all happening for a reason. So the Law of One, being a Christian, I mean, we can go on and say, look at the Bible and how it's been, whittled down, manipulated, but Mother, Father is how it was always pronounced. Mother, Father, Creator. Because they're not these higher intelligence, anything above fifth dimension, sixth dimension, and they don't have genders. Fifth dimension is the last gender call. So hopefully, we're more than likely going to go into the fourth dimension, but it's possible we could just jump straight into the fifth dimension, which, if more of us start doing the hard work and the meditation and the balancing of our minds and our consciousness, we will, jump right into the fifth. It is at the fourth dimension of thinking now, the way that the vibration of the earth's gone, but it could still jump into the fifth, depending on what us as a collective group do. If we decide to really put our minds into the positive, and really just take down this deep state who's controlling things, and take control back. The extraterrestrials have made it quite clear as they won't come here until the deep state's taken out, and until people start realising what is actually going on around you. Oh, I had a lovely situation today. Just laid in bed doing some research, and I had a magpie just fly into the log cabin outside, and flew onto the roof, looked in my bedroom window, and said to me, "Lewis, nip out and give me some of them mealworms and the food for me." So I said, "Mr. Magpie, I'll be out in a second." Run down the stairs, shut a dressing gown on, go out and feed them. The neighbours are saying, "Who are you talking to, Lewis?" And I'm going, "Hello, Mr. Maggie, bye." Well, I'll call you back in a sec. Anyway, right, so we've got that covered. The Ark of the Covenant, same dimensions. Very strange, but we put that back in. I'm on the understanding eventually, or quite soon. Oh yeah, and that's what I want to touch on, the kickers. The kickers, they're in power now. The deep state are in power, in government in the US, until January, right? So anytime between now and January, I think we might see a big kicker to try to kick a war with Iran. I think that we might see that before January. It might happen before November. It wouldn't surprise me if it was before November. And we know we're in the 24th now, is it? Whatever. Yeah, so, look out for the war with Iran kicking off. And I think that's all they've got, the deep state, left to do. Really, because, I don't think reality people believe in it anymore. This terrible media we've got, this terrible, hating on Donald, a lot, I mean, how can anyone get an assassination attempt twice and it hardly be in the news? Why? This should have been. Do you remember when 9/11 happened? News, media, constant. Why isn't it happening now? Anyway, this is quite a long video for me, but I'm going to start wrapping up. I'm just going to touch over these. Oh, yeah, this is another shocker. Oh, yeah, this is what I wanted to say. Since, you know, for the last quite a few years, they've been given the death penalty to secret